Elrond, after an unsuccessful diplomatic visit to Khazad-Dum, at Gil-galad's request, marches with the Elves of Imladris from Rivendell and moves to the dwarf stronghold. Durin the Fourth, who has not found a compromise with his father, by order of the king of the dwarfs, Khazad-Dum comes to meet the Elves of Imladris. Durin did not want a battle with Elrond, but he could not go against his father. Durin led 7,000 dwarfs of Khazad-Dum, everyone from minors to veterans of the martial craft followed Durin. The elves are close, their incense is already wafting from the north. To bring down this poison, the dwarfs on the march lap up ale and cheer up continue on their way. Durin built long-range weapons in the form of ballistae, and there were 80 chariots in the dwarf army, which would split the elf army into many parts. The army of elves under the command of Elrond numbered 8,000 elves. Many of them went through dozens of battles with the orcs of Gundabad. Hundreds of horsemen and first-class archers. At that time, the elf infantry had no equal in Middle-earth. Elrond did not want a battle with Durin, but obstructing Gil-galad's order would be an even greater mistake. When the army of elves approached, Durin gave the order and the engineers fired a volley of ballistae. The flaming shells of the ballistae fell directly on the heads of the marching squads of elves. Elrond disbanded the formation to reduce losses, but the ballistae managed to take the lives of hundreds of Imladris fighters. Durin, seeing how the elven archers are preparing for a volley, sends war chariots to meet the warriors of Imladris. The elves did not expect the dwarfs to seize the initiative. The same age attacked the elf army and broke through it, creating many gaps in the Imladris formation. While the battle was going on between the vanguards of the elves and the dwarfs, on the flanks of the horsemen of Imladris staged a deadly onslaught into the left flank of the dwarfs. The onslaught of the elven horsemen takes the lives of hundreds of dwarf fighters and weakens the dwarfs' flank. Durin is forced to send half of his reserves to strengthen the flank and push back the elf cavalry. On the other flank, the crossbowmen conducted their own firefight with the archers of the elves, preventing them from firing a volley into the unprotected positions of the dwarf infantry. Dwarfs and elves fought for hours. The fighters of Khazad-Dum and Imladris showed no mercy and fiercely opposed each other. Durin, seeing how Elrond entered the battle with his reserves, decides to personally rush into battle. The elves manage to break through to the rear and Durin takes on the task of pushing back the elves that approached the dwarfs' ballistae. Elrond made an attempt to break through the vanguard, but because of the 3 Karlasnits that hit the rear of his squad, he was forced to regroup in the rear.
Running for their lives! The enemy has obliterated.
When the dwarfs manage to push back the elf cavalry on the flank, the dwarf commander decides to rush to the positions of the vanguard of Imladris and surround him to kill. Elrond is unable to break through the dwarfs' encirclement and decides to retreat so as not to lose the Imladris units exhausted during the battle. The dwarfs are rejoicing. Victory for Khazad-Dum. Durin lost 3,000 fighters out of 7,000. Elrond's losses were 5,000 out of 8,000.